Hi, I'm Winter, and today I'm going to be talking about three brainwave theories I have about the Watcher. I thought it was common knowledge, but no one was commenting on it. The first one being the Watcher is the Echo. The Watcher's Black Cat is the Echo. I have a lot of things to say about this because for me the game literally implies this is the case. Like when I first played it, I thought, oh, we're going to be becoming the Echo. Then I was like, oh, we are not the Echo, and then we are the Echo. We are so back. First of all, you can understand it without having the mark of communication. We are not the Saint. We have no special attunement. We have not been ascended before. I don't know. You can understand it. That's strange to me. Second, there's this line of dialogue that the Echo has in the test, I think it was, where he's like, oh, I used to walk through these hallways or something, like I used to walk through here, which this place doesn't look like ancient urban to me. I mean, it could be, but it's really different. I don't know, that's strange to me. He would be referring that he remembers us right now as a Slack cat running through these halls. There's also the fact that Spinning Top is way different than the other echoes visually. So talking like it's a ball with legs. That's strange. That's really echo-like, right? And we also get different menu scheme for the campaign when we see the echo. Also, I don't consider this as a fact, but I mean, because the way the echo laughs at Owa Wawa, it's really similar to Wawa, the way the Slack Cats tag in the. I guess this is more of a community thing, so I'm not going to count this one, but food for thought. While playing the game, we are actually journeying him, we're getting his powers, we start being invisible, okay? And then we start learning to levitate and stuff, like, and going to another plane and open portals just like the Echo. Like, we're literally turning into him, we're having his powers. And super important, the reason I make this video in the first place, in the ending, it's heavily implied for me, from my point of view, it's heavily implied that we become the Echo. This still implies that it's not, it's an ancient living there. But then we have the Echo ascend and we go to his room and we end there. Doesn't this imply to you that we live in this room? Like the dialogue before, like, oh, I grew up in the room. You are literally now in your room. You start to grow up there. You have an ending where the Slack Cat, the Watcher, stays there and lives in ancient urban forever. This is the way I see it. I mean, to this day, there's not there's probably one line of dialogue out there that says, no, I'm literally an ancient child, I'm not a Slack Cat, probably, or something like that, to debunk all this theory away. But I do not see it. Like, I'm trying to remember things that imply that he isn't a Slack Cat, but I think it's really vague, and this is why I like the Dragon Ball, because for me, this is a completely coherent thought, an idea that the Echo is the Slack Cat, but no one. I've seen no one talking about this. I'm surprised. Like, for me, the ending literally implies that. Like, we were like, oh, this is a fake out. This is not his room, and oh, this is his room. You end up living there. I don't know. For me, it makes total sense. Also, I'm going to be talking about some other points that go beyond here, because there's a line of dialogue talking about nursing and mothers, and this is literally like, this is not incompatible with the idea that the Slack Cat grow up in ancient urban, because there, you grow up there, of course you're going to be taken care of. Imagine you are an ancient and suddenly you have a neighbor that is a cat. It's going to be proper care, I think. Maybe treated like as, I wouldn't say equal, but like dude, my neighbor is a pet. Something like that. I don't know. I think it's a nice thought that the Watcher ended up with a happy ending, and this is why I love the Watcher. And this ending in particular, I really like it because it's a happy ending, and it feels. I'm not going to compare to others like that, so we'll get to that at some point. Also, more things about the echo that makes sense is that the more you meet the echo, the more karma you lose. Which is like again getting closer and closer to becoming the echo itself. This is I say this because of Saint. So yeah, time paradox full of fulfillment all the way out. You help me, I help you, I help me because I'm you. This is very similar to Saint when you think about it, and this, my friends, goes to this second theory, which is, I think it's insane. I have not seen this one anywhere, and I really want to talk about it because it could be something interesting for the future. Not really, I'm just bluffing. The Saint and Watcher are like yin and yang. Hear me out. They have the amount of parallels I've ended up recollecting for both of these guys. First of all, continuing with the theory that the Watcher is the echo, I was like, because through the campaign, I was thinking, are we doing the same thing again? Like, I think it's cool, but didn't we do this already with Saint? And yes, but no, because I see them as in a wheel or a cycle, if you will. Yin and Yang, both are very different but the same. Both are the triple affirmative. Is listen, they both technically check the boxes in the triple affirmative. Not really if you start to point out, no, but you cannot send the rock. Okay, you don't have to do the. You are the closest you can get to a triple affirmative. With both, it's insane because I need to talk about the second ending before, so you don't get lost with the Watcher saying this because when you end up opening rifts, you are spreading the rod. I have not made a single comment about the rod, but my thoughts of this are insane. Well, not insane. It's an insane fact that the rod is obviously related in some way to the extension. For this theory that both Watcher and Saint are yin and yang, I'm going to be thinking that the rod is the opposite of the void, of the extension of the void. It's some similar way. This is the thing. It's another way to break the great cycle. It's not extension, not ceasing to itself. It's to live, as the parents put it. So it's like they both do the same thing, but in opposite directions. I'm also going to point the fact that made me really like this theory. That is, a YouTuber theorist commented about it. That was the rod has the full-on 5 karmas at once. So it's full on living. It's literally the opposite. Like you have this one at the bottom that removes you, this one that gives you everything. And I love the way I picture because one of them, which sounds horrible, which is literally suicide, if you will, is painted as religion, extension, super Buddhist stuff. But the other that is saying like, oh, it's full of life, it's full of everyone's living. We are one on the same, and you look at it and it's rotten, literally. It's super fascinating to me. This is why I love Rain for them. So back to both Yin and Yang, Watcher and Saint. First of all, both end up turning into an echo. In different ways, both end up being an echo. As I said, both are the triple affirmative, more or less, because the Saint is literally standing people, and the Watcher is spreading the rod, therefore extending everything, everywhere he goes to. So yeah, both are the triple affirmative. Saint is literally going around ascending towards, probably, it's safe to assume he was ascending the literators in his time loop, right? Both are stuck in a time loop of some sort. Saint seems to be the one about suffering, probably because he goes to Rubicon all the time, I guess. The Watcher is in a happy paradox because he is reliving his happy memories of being with Jason. Both have their own personal hell, personal, like Saint has Rubicon, the Watcher has Outer Rim. I'm going to compare these regions because I think they're extremes opposites, just like the Void and the Rot. So yeah, Rubicon is probably at the bottom, literally, and Outer Rim is at the edge of the world, literally. Like they're both extreme ends. There's also a lot of theories about Outer Rim. We don't really know yet how it. I hope we get some answers in the next time we get content for Watcher, because there's a lot of theories. There's the dust, the thing. It is inside the void. What are we looking at? Why is the subterranean here? There's a lot of things. So Outer Rim, fascinating region, and Rubicon, yeah, hell for Saint. So yeah, one follows or guides the Rot, and the other the void. Also, we can talk about the differences that are funny enough, but I don't know. Like I'm going to point out because I saw this parallelism. The Saint has his eyes closed while the Watcher has his wide open, peeping. Literally, like I want to comment on this, but this is literally like the Watcher's thing. He watches. Maybe we can stretch this a bit further, but one is taste because of the tongue, and the other is the sight because peeping. Another parallel is both fly when reaching much karma. Saint flies more, but Watcher flies. I mean, levitating. I guess if he continued this way, he could be flying all the way, like an echo. Both eliminate their karma. They are the only slack cats that end up doing this. Saint at the end to become an echo, and Watcher as well if he keeps finding the echo. Another thing is that both understand echoes without the mark. I said before that this was because the Watcher is itself, so he could understand himself. Like, yeah, I speak Stakkat, so because I was one, that's some sort of thing. But Saint had attunement, which I don't know how it went. Like the Saint, this is the thing. I really want to love the Saint, but there's a lot of confusion in my head about this because how I'm not going to get into it. Maybe in another time. I don't know. And both are victims of their own success. The Saint is stuck in this time loop, and the Watcher is sparing the Rot and killing everything. They don't leave me a good taste of mouth. Like when I'm spraying the Rot and Watcher, I'm not fully happy with what I'm doing. Like it's like, yeah, we're spraying the Rot, but maybe this is not a good thing because seeing the Rot at places, like in theory, in text sounds about right, but look at what it's doing to their lizard. The way they scream, this is the thing that really got me to like, whoa, the Rot is in no way good because the suffering in those lizards, man. They did so well with the sound design of that. And yeah, the Saint is his own victim. The way he straight up ascends everyone without their consent, the same way as Watcher as well, because you're like ascending people that may not want this. They are like. Do you think Gourmand would like this? Like, I don't know. And finally, for the last theory, I'm going to do a hear me out that I like. This one I have not looked into this in the community enough, but I'm sure that I'm not the only one that thinks this. And please don't shut me down with the thing that this was previously a mod or something, and that's why it looked like this. But hear me out. Cold storage, and therefore either reads the surface, which is the future, probably salination and fetid glen, heat ducts maybe, are all no significant harassment. All of them. Yes, it just makes sense to me. Like when I got to cold storage, I was like, yes, this is no significant harassment, 100%. Like I've been piecing together which region belongs to each iterator. I always piece them together as being close, relatively close, like the neighborhood of iterators. Okay, so why? I'm not making this up. Why do I think this? So we have these containers or vats, I don't know how to call them, capsules, uh, that store living things, or in this case, lizards. We see a lot of dead lizards, and this is like for when I first came here, I first thought of no significant harassment because of the lines of dialogue he has with Seven Red Suns about breeding and about breeding creatures. This bats thing remind me of Hunter on the first play. Like, this is where you would make Hunter, in this kind of place. I also think the dead lizards having the rot, like this place has the rot when you get here, even before you start rotting places. Like, this is someone that made the rot for themselves. And something I want to point out that shouldn't normally be considered, except for this place, for a reason to piece together a location with an iterator, the color scheme. I know I'm going to say the purple thing being the robe of no significant harassment is no particular reason to be connected to it, but the green lights, please, that's the light that are in Tools to the Moon, in 5 Pebbles, that are associated with the iterator colors. Not the colors of their body, the puppet, but the colors of their iterator. For example, Moon is yellow, 5 Pebbles is cyan blue, I think Chasing Wind is white, Seven Red Suns is red, and no significant harassment is green. He also appears to have green skin, and there's something about him and colors because the green neuron fly he sent. Like, if I had to point out which iterator would use their colors for their facility, or I guess it was the opposite, like he has the same colors of his facility, could be no significant harassment because he's obsessed with the colors. Like the green neuron, you could have sent it in another neuron, white, green, your color, I don't know. So yeah, this is the closest we get to an iterator, except for 20 evolution, which is the place we go from here. Like, for me, I hate when people, it bugs me so much when people say the Watcher doesn't have lore, because it's really different. I have a lot of opinions about this, and if you want me to express myself better, I can make a video only about this. But this is like, I'm not going to say peak Rainbow, but yes, it's peak Rainbow experience. We're so back. We had everything figured out. not everything, but we had a lot of facts, and now we're back at square one, not knowing anything. It's just like playing Survivor for the first time. Like, this feels to me like playing Survivor for the first time. We only can piece together things from the backgrounds, but we have all this information we can work from. I don't know. I think it's fascinating. So yeah, thanks for watching and for listening to my crazy stuff. Please let me know. I'm waiting for that one comment saying, "Bro, this line of dialogues debunks everything that you say and makes no sense." But please do these comments. I love to get facted. I need facts. There's so little facts in Rainbow. I need them. If you have theories, please comment. If you want me to make a video with more theories, I have a lot of the Watcher. I really like the Watcher. Thanks you for watching.